Hey there, listeners, and welcome to the final live stream of the offline network, the final live stream in 2025 of the offline network. You'll notice we have two different backgrounds today. That's because we're in two different cities, and I'm going to actually ask 𝐬𝐻𝐶 to tell us why that is and what we were doing.
So, as you may know, that I run this community called Offline, and we've got an awesome team that planned this amazing founders retreat for all of our members. There were approximately 70 people who came together in this beautiful country called Georgia. Short 5-hour flight from Delhi, but honestly, the best time that we've ever experienced. Like the Georgian hospitality, the countrysides, and the snow, of course, was beautiful. We covered a lot of activities you can see in some of the images that will pop up on our screen as well. Everyone had a blast. There were a lot of cha-cha shots, which is a Georgian liquor as well. But apart from that, I think the time that we spent together was just wonderful. And Dhruv decided to extend his trip to experience some of that Georgian hospitality for a day longer. And yeah, I mean, the weather was phenomenal. The people were amazing. The kind of activities that we've done, just amazing, right? And I think you'll see many of that in the videos that we put out across this week as well. But exciting, exciting. What did you make of the retreat, Dhruv?
Also, what I absolutely loved was the time we spent with, with within the community, with the members, their partners, their spouses, and we were chatting about this just last evening, right? When we first got in, everyone was just talking shop, going back and forth about how the year was for our respective businesses, trying to understand other people's businesses. By the second and third and fourth day, we really, we came together as just like as people, as humans, and
Yeah.
bonded in a way that I haven't seen us bond in quite some time. Many years ago, so someone told me that the difference between, say, banking and venture, and what they said was, in banking very often, what happens is transactions lead to relationships, and what happens in venture or the private markets is
Relationship.
relationships lead to transactions. So we weren't there to sign deals with each other, though that might just end up happening. But if it does happen, it'll happen because, everyone really just came together as people and,
And so many of our
had a
team
very,
and
very
guests
connected.
were there. Piyush of Router and many others who were there. And everyone's had a great time meeting the offline community as well. And I mean, just hold your horses. If you join our WhatsApp community, you'll see early access to some of the videos and content that we'll put out from these uh, few days that we spent on the Georgian slopes. But coming back, we were not streaming on Friday. There was somebody who called us out on Twitter where they said the Indian TVPN needs to talk about Unacademy, or are they just doing PR-friendly exercises? We, of course, were busy with the retreat, so we don't have a nuanced view on this. But from what I think it transpired, from whatever we read on Twitter and the posts that were put out by many other people, I think Unacademy cut their exercise window from 10 years to 30 days, which affects a lot of their alum employees. Dhruv, do you have an opinion on this?
Not an opinion yet, 𝐬𝐻𝐶, and that's partly because we were away, but partly also because it still is a developing story. I'm not sure. A lot of the people who are posting their hot and sharp takes also have a fully formed opinion. They don't have access to the investment agreements. I will say this, that you only come to realize um, how sometimes inaccurate news reporting can be when you are a part of it. And so I think what we might do for this story is we'll try and see if we can just get, the key individuals involved to come talk about this. But to
We
me,
tried
it
getting Gaurav
appears
on the
as
show,
though,
by the way, yesterday, but I think he's busy with all of this stuff right now. But would have been lovely to have
yeah.
Gaurav and maybe Kashish join us to break it down. Like, I think give him a more neutral platform, because I think words can get lost behind these emails and exchanges on Twitter and all of that stuff. So I think
Yeah.
it will be good to have him sometime on the show.
But on balance, I think, one has to obviously empathize with the employers as well. They're
Mm.
now kind of on a short clock. 30 days is all that they have to make a decision. The one thing I will say, with respect to that, is maybe what could make this easier is if Gaurav and the Unacademy team were to just rope in a credible third party and ask them to put out pros and cons, so that people can make a decision within those 30 days. It's still going to be a personal decision. But for
But
people who are sitting on vested options, it's really come down to, do you want to be a part of the, liquidation waterfall or not? and Unacademy may have done some things right and some things wrong, but the tax treatment of ESOPs is definitely something that they haven't, written down. And maybe that opens a broader conversation with, um, with our government as well. This
And
is a
many
live case
founders
study
chimed
that
in
would
as
be,
well. I think the Cars24 founder Vikram, then there was Razorpay founders as well, giving a brief history about the exercises or the buyback exercises that they've done within their companies as well. So that's exciting in a way that people still believe in the value of ESOPs. Then there are people like Ravi Handa, who was a guest as well on TU, and who made a point that focus on maximizing your cash sort of component of the salary and not worry too much about the ESOPs. It's sort of like buying a lottery ticket. Of course, that ESOP liquidity is concentrated in many of the top 1 to 5% startups of the country. But if done right and if the company does well, it is definitely a huge upside. Like, I mean, whenever any of these
oh,
companies like Urban Company
right.
or any of the companies that went for an IPO this year, I am pretty certain that the Bangalore rents would have gone up because of that, just because so
Yeah.
many
And
employees have cashed in.
yeah. And if we can, I will stay with this point for a bit. It's sure, it makes sense to optimize for cash early in your career,
Hmm.
or uh, or if you're in a specific life stage. Sometimes life happens. You have
Yeah.
obligation. You have kids to send to school. You have a home to buy. You have parents who are aging, and so on and so forth. So again, it's a very individual choice. But I mean, ours is not the only startup ecosystem in the world, and there's others too. And once people, have a sufficient once people have a personal safety net, you will almost always see them optimizing for ESOPs as something that can create asymmetric opportunities in the future. So, should this one lone incident, be the death sentence for ESOPs? Absolutely not.
No. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, Kashish made that point, right? ESOP buybacks, which are of course facilitated on his platform as well, he's seen a number go up significantly as well. He put out a LinkedIn post as well describing some of this. So I think, I mean, two sides to every story. Like we've always come into the show, I mean, discussing how, I mean, there's no one way to cut a particular story, and we don't want to present an opinion that we haven't formed yet. So I think thanks for calling us out. Of course, we want to present the facts to you and always come chat with you about news. And our WhatsApp community is alive and buzzing. So just come and chat with other people who might have different viewpoints as well to this thing as well.
And equally, I might add, it's one thing to expect the show, this platform to have a sharp nuanced stake. Maybe you have one of your own, and if you do, we're just a message away, and we're happy to invite you into the conversation and hear what your thoughts have been on any story that's developing.
But I mean, look at the fact. They're basically doing, I mean, the valuation that they mentioned in the email that they put out was 2650 crores approximately. So UpGrad seems to be the potential acquirer of this company. They've raised significantly more amount of capital than this. And it's a stock-based transaction from what Gaurav put out as well. So anybody who exercises will, of course, be liable to pay taxes on the stocks that the shares that he or she gets. And there's no real possibility of getting cash for that right now, even if they've crossed the liquidation preference hurdle. All of these are very technical concepts, so we do need an expert to come and
There
chat with you
is,
about this.
yes.
So,
There is no cash and it's all stock. And again, to our earlier point, right? Like, options are contracts, they're not securities. So for you to have a dog in this fight, you first need to be in the liquidation waterfall and hold common stock. And that's essentially what this whole thing has been about. Now, in order to exercise them, you have to foot a tax bill up front, which
mm,
is which can be incredibly daunting for most people, to have to pay taxes on money that you haven't seen yet,
yeah.
and yeah, so it's a difficult situation for everybody.
I mean, stay tuned. We'll keep tracking this. There's something happening in the world of global edtech as well. Coursera and Udemy merge in a $930 million all-stock deal as well. The combined entity is now valued at 2.5 billion. There's always activity in the edtech world, I think, which post-COVID, I think, took a bit of a beating. But I think today we can, of course, we're talking about Coursera, Udemy, Unacademy, but the big one was PhysicsWallah that went for an IPO this year. And we'll talk a little bit about the IPO market as well as we end this show as well.
Yeah.
Quick rewind now. I think let's just give ourselves a pat on the back. We've done this for 43 episodes. We've had 80 plus, 85 plus guests now, and many of the guests who've come on have gone on to do such wonderful things. Like Akhrit, who announced his $75 million fund and discussed it with us on this show. He was the first guest to come on TON as well. And there are these companies like Noise, who was on the retreat as well. Gaurav Khatri, he's crossed 1,000 crores in net revenue. Nikunj Biani has scaled to over 160 crores in ARR as well. Sumit Gupta has raised funding from Coinbase and seen 4.5x growth in the year. And I mean, it's just insane. Even one of our guests, Nitin Jain, I mean, we discussed it on the show, but I think he's formally announced it on LinkedIn as well that he's leaving off business to start his next venture. And we'll have many of these show guests back again on the show in 2026 as they keep on building and scaling and growing. And it'll be exciting to keep tracking the same guests as we grow the show as well, to hear from their previous experiences and what they're building next as well. I'm pretty excited about it, by the roster of guests that we're building and the stories that keep on evolving. Yeah, Dhruv,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
what are you most excited about in 2026? What should we do differently or what should we do more of?
Like with respect to the show,
Yeah.
I think so first we have to do a lot more of what we've been doing, which is finding incredible people to bring to to bring to the show to our listeners. And the one thing that we have done differently, I'm not sure if this resonates with the people who listen in just yet, is most of our guests come and share a moment in time with us. We're
Mm.
not doing these capstone style, let's do a look back at your life's journey kind of say quote unquote podcasts. And that makes it different. That makes it again very, very human. You see how somebody who's still contending with decisions and choices, how sometimes deeply flawed their thinking could be, even, or how conflicted they could be in the moment. I think that's what sets what we're trying to do here apart from everything else that we have out there. We, of course, we uh, we do listen and lean in and draw inspiration heavily from people who've been what's the point of reinventing the wheel? The Chinese actually were saying also that there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm.
So did we get inspired by format? Absolutely we did. That format in turn was also inspired by something else. And but yeah, what we do on the show, regardless of the format, is covered deeply Indian stories from the Indian ecosystem with Indian founders, and it's fun.
And everyone's doing their job. I don't know why people call other people out on Twitter, but I think, I mean, nobody invented journalism, right? You're just putting like, I mean, keyword to basically your word processor document. So you're not doing anything new. Like everyone's just trying to do news in their own way or try to tell new stories in different ways. And I think that's great for founders and startup ecosystem in general. Like I think you should support more of this. I think the world is drowned in negativity, rage, baity, click, all of this stuff that is just driving people to like get opinionated or aggressive about certain things. But sometimes it's just good to have a calm, peaceful environment where you can just talk about stuff in a very peaceful manner. Like I think that's my aim with TON as well, and I believe you believe the same thing as well. Like we want to talk to people who are building awesome technology or building and progressing the startup ecosystem of India, and having them on the show is
Yeah,
just phenomenal. And it's, I mean, privilege for us that we get to speak. I mean, across 40 shows, we've spoken to 85 different
absolutely.
founders, and their
Yeah,
stories are inspiring. Like, if it doesn't
yeah,
inspire you, then I don't know what else will, to be honest. And next year, I think we'll do more of technologists as well. India's seen a bunch of deep tech activity this year. We've covered all the AI mega deals, but India's having its own deep tech moment, and Vishesh was on our first show as well from Speciale Invest. And I mean, the kind of stuff that's getting funded in India, like it's fascinating. Like even recently, DigiAntra, one of the space companies, raised 50 million, and they're all doing such cool stuff. Like, and
yeah,
we don't have, of course, the technology brains to dissect all of this or have an opinion on this, but just hearing from the founders directly and bringing that to our audience, I think that's a privilege that we do not take lightly. And we'll keep doing
yeah.
more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in fact been like it's been one of the most heartening things to see, so which is to see a lot more. Yeah, I mean the real builders and tinkerers dive in and build like more atoms and not just bits kind of companies, and take up like hard science and engineering type problems. We had Sparsh, in fact, with us on the offside as well of All Carbon. Last year we had a Vest. These are all great, examples of great builders. And to your earlier point, right, there's a very, very fine line, I think, between being critical and being cynical, And being critical is great. Like applying critical thinking is what makes us objective and
Mm.
objectively good. But nothing breaks my heart more personally than seeing, young cynics. I mean, you have an entire lifetime ahead of you. By all means, be a original thinker, be a critical thinker. But guys, don't become cynical that early in your lives and careers. So, that's what we sometimes find on Twitter. Yeah,
And I mean, AI has made everyone an armchair critic where they think that they have access to the world's knowledge, but everyone else does too. Like it's what you do with it, I think that ends up defining where you end up in life. That's my opinion.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, something to
Our
celebrate though. Huh?
final stream is becoming deeply reflective. I think there's something about the final week of December, right? You
Dude,
become,
I'm
uh,
doing this after a 3 hour sleep on a red eye flight. So
yeah,
I think, of course, my brain is a little foggy, but so much to celebrate. But next year, I think we'll bring more VPs of technologies and CTOs and all of these people to come and explain like deeply technical stuff as well. And some of our audience might find that exciting as well to hear from them as well. Because typically what we've done is we've had more CEOs where they talk about business and the industry in general, but maybe we can do some deep dive sessions as well. So let's
yeah,
experiment with this format in 2026.
yes.
All right, lots to celebrate in the startup ecosystem. Big IPOs: Meesho, Urban Company, Grow. I mean, First Cry, Physics Wala, Pine Labs. I mean, the returns on them have been insane. So,
Aether, Lenskart, Uber,
Ether, Lens, don't
Bluestone,
forget. Yeah,
the
Bluestone. We're
class of
forgetting.
2025. Yeah,
And I mean, VC funds have crushed it. We've discussed the Peak 15 story where everyone was writing them off. There was churn in the team as well, and now they've really come back with a bang with them on the leadership position in the liquidity market now.
yeah,
And funding, of course, as anything, it's cyclical, goes up and goes down. You can obviously look up the numbers, but I think we've had a good year in terms of bouncing back as well. It'll be exciting to
yeah,
see some AI activity come up in India as well. And great to see Akrit leading that charge as well, where he's trying to find AI companies and AI founders in India and support them with the global network that he has in his fund also.
yeah.
Uh, Unicorn activity is back up. We had 23 unicorns in 22, two in 2023, three in 2024, and 11 in 2025. So 2025 was a good year for the mythical creature.
How many do we have now, sir?
Man, I think the number is over 100, but of course it
Yeah,
keeps fluctuating because some, I mean, of course, take an exit from that or are dead pooled. So I don't know what the real number is, but it's definitely over 100 for now.
maybe close to 120, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, we're the third largest startup ecosystem of the world. So there is definitely activity and always will be. And I think with these IPOs and what we've discussed, there'll be second order benefits to the ecosystem where founders who get liquidity will swing for the fences and start more risk
yeah,
taking ventures as well. So it's all part of the boom cycle, basically, where
uh,
it'll eventually lead to good outcomes.
yeah.
Fintech is
As
the
the OG
leading.
angel, how does Utsav, as the OG angel, how does it feel to have to see such a, I mean, the story play out over no, what now, like 15 years?
No, I first wrote my first angel check in 2014. The first one was a company called Testbook. Now the founders are doing the next venture, which is Grexa.ai. They're trying to help
Oh,
small,
yeah,
medium businesses in India get an online store presence and also get them traffic or footfall via
yeah.
uh, giving them presence on Google, better
I
presence on Google.
I I recommended it to the gentleman who cuts my hair, and
Yeah,
he used to build a website, and then and his digital presence, and then went and told all his friends about it as well. So yeah, very timely.
word of mouth. Yes.
Acha, तो आप ही you also had a dog in the edtech fight since that long, huh?
Yeah, Testbook was one of the early ones. Then Matrix invested, now Z47, and a couple of other Iron Pillar came in. Then they ended up selling the company as well. And so it was a mildly profitable exit for the Angels. And then my second investment in 2015 was a company called Sugar Cosmetics. Now Vinita's, of course, a shark as well.
Yeah.
And Elevation bought out the Angels as well. So I've seen the journey play out, but of course, I didn't have that much liquidity back in the day, and I didn't have a fund nor like the syndicate product which AngelList India did. So liquidity was always a challenge. So I was investing maybe in 4 or 5 companies a year back in the day. But I think Titan Capital, I think, was the more prominent investor back in the day. They started early. They were like I mean, founders of Snapdeal back in the day were, I mean, one of the most prominent marketplaces of the country. So they did exceptionally well as angels.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, everyone's. I think if you
And
start
privileged to
early,
have served them as customers at AngelList India as well. So
boom. So yeah, I mean, the story is playing out. I haven't had an IPO yet. Misha would have been that first one if I'd listened to Rohan and Joey from Rohan and Arjun from Good Capital. But yeah, I mean, the story is still playing out. I think next 2 years look very promising for the exit and the liquidity market overall. Yeah, fintech is leading. No surprises there. Health tech, e-commerce, AI, food tech, all of the sectors have made a mark as well. And I mean, yeah, the VC outlook's looking nice. We've had Axel as the most active investor. They did 30 plus deals in H1. Bloom Ventures was the seed category leader as well. And Westbridge Capital's really stepping up as well, with General Catalyst coming in big as well in the late stage category. Exciting.
yeah,
I think it's exciting. We've had 10.5 billion gone into startups so far, and still 17% down from last year. But I think the numbers do tend to have a lag of when they get reported in the public. So I think we'll probably match 2024, if not exceed it.
plus it's a
Yeah,
cyclical business.
it's a cyclical business.
And
You
so
would.
there are local trends, and but globally we keep tending upwards. There's this really nice graph, by the way, on Ray Dalio's "How the Economy Works" video on YouTube,
Hmm.
where I mean, if the broad trend, the sinusoidal waves, if it's trending upwards, the trend within, if you really zoom in, could still be up and down, but you're broadly trending up, and that's, I think, the story of the ecosystem as well at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we've got much to cover. We don't want to keep you away from the holiday season. So hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Do check out our newsletter. We put out a good newsletter on Substack as well. It's called T1 Dispatch. The second edition came out last week. Dhruv has mentioned some solid book recommendations. I'm much more of a lighter guy, so I'm recommending some awesome TV shows that I've seen across the year as well.
What
Landman.
are you saying? We both recommended an equal number of books. I haven't recommended no movies though. What's Landmine? I haven't seen
Landman
this.
is amazing. It's by the creator of Yellowstone. It's the Mad Men guy and Billy Hopthorne. Like, dude, what a show! It's about this Midwestern oil billionaire and how the deal making happens when you have to sell. I mean, extract oil and then sell it. So
Yeah.
fascinating. I mean, that John Hamm guy is amazing, basically. So he's
Mhm.
done really well. I've recommended one of his other shows as well. You got Friends and Neighbors. It's on Apple TV as well. Go check it out. I mean, it was a good year for TV. I think these OTT shows are killing it. So you can get sucked in easily.
But
All right.
everyone, do see a second newsletter.
Yeah, that's the TLDR. All right, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful year end and do write a banger LinkedIn post on everything that you've accomplished in 2025 and send us your best ones, and we'll be sure to share it with our community as well. Let's cheer each other on and have a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year to you. See you in 2026. Bye bye.